Hello everyone and welcome to episode 32 where we'll be looking back at Brands Hatch in the final round of the BSB where Tommy Bridewell was crowned British Superbike Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Big Bad Bike Show. I'm the Big Bad Biker, Sam Macaulay, and joining me tonight as always is the Up North Biker, Ash Hall.
Hello there.
But once again, I completely forgot to let you say hello. I was just going to rattle on. Once again, we're missing Chippy. Begs the question that this point whether he's even part of the podcast, but at least part of the podcast you listen to.
Yeah.
Don't even know anymore.
Doesn't turn up, does he?
And it's not even because he's busy. Currently, he's just lying in his bed, cuddling his dog, and that is true. You go to our Twitter page, the Big Bad Bike Show. There is a video of him there, video evidence of him lying in bed, playing a lullaby to his dog. It is what he likes to do. But yeah, we'll not go on about it because it's not about him. It's about you guys listening to the show. That's what it's about. You're the heroes. You're the reason why we come on here week in, week out.
Absolutely.
The unsung, unnamed heroes. You guys, our fan base, all maybe 5 of you, keep us going. Keep us warm at night. Kept us warm in our cold tent in Brands Hatch. Wasn't that right, Ash?
It did not keep us warm in that tent. No, it did not. It was absolutely fucking Baltic. It was so cold.
It was. It was freezing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening on YouTube, please hit the like, subscribe, and you can hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss a podcast. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or Google or whatever I believe you can leave us a review. You can give us 5 stars. You can tippity tap and tell us everybody how amazing you are. And if you want to help us out, the best thing you can do is share it on any social media or tell your friends. Just if you're sitting in a bus, just give them a nudge. Just take your earphone out and go, "Hey mate," or whoever, or even the bus driver. If you're only one on the bus, tell the bus driver. Don't make him crash, but tell the bus driver. Just be like, "Mate, have you heard this podcast? Stop this bus right now. Stop the bus. I don't care about them people. I don't care about them people that want to get in the bus. Stop this bus and listen to the Big Bad Bike Show."
Yeah, because that's more important than this bus.
That's how you help us.
Yeah.
And if you want to get in touch, you can join our Discord. It's on. It will be on all our social medias. Or you can podcast. You can email us at podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. I've just had a Red Bull. That's why I'm...
Really? Can't tell.
We're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to go straight into the Who Am I, because we think our catch-up's just going to bleed into the British Superbike.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because we were
become a part.
Yeah, because we were there. So
yeah.
Yes.
So last week, it was Chippy's Who Am I? Do you want to read it out, Ash?
I can read it. I feel a bit reluctant to be honest, but I will. Okay, so last week's Who Am I was Chippy. The clues are: I was born in Chester in 1978. I have run a BSB team as well as competed in BSB as a rider. I am a lap record holder at the Isle of Man TT. Now, I had to Google this because I didn't have a clue.
I had to Google it as well. I had a fair idea it was going to be... I don't want to say somebody obscure because that's not fair, but I had a fair idea it was going to be somebody who maybe wasn't really up to terms with, let's just say. Yeah. Which is my fault, obviously. That's my fault. It's not their fault, it's my fault. But the answer was...
Jenny Tinmouth? Is that how you pronounce it? Tinmouth?
Yeah, Jenny Tinmouth, I'm pretty sure that's it, yeah. And she holds the lap record for the fastest female around TT, I believe.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well done. And it was a good Who Am I?
It was actually, because we were both like, oh yeah, who is he? And then it was like, and he kept saying, yeah, he's this and that. And then I was like, oh, well, it's clearly a...
Yeah, I listened back.
Kind of threw me off because we were thinking, well, it's got to be a bloke. So yeah. Anyway, this week's Who Am I is you, Sam. So you're going to give us that?
Yes. Right, so I've went kind of outside the box for my Who Am I.
It's very good though.
Because I feel it's a big bad bike show. It's about motorbikes. Like, some people might listen to this, it's maybe not in it for the motorbike racing So I thought I would go for a broad brush. He has a motorbike racer. He was a motorbike racer, though. He did race motorbikes. Right, anyway. I maybe gave too much away there.
He, she, what?
He, she, they. I was born on the 24th of March 1930, and although not widely known, at least I didn't know it, my first name is Terence. She said that was a massive clue for you, didn't you?
Yes.
Right, this next clue's a bit of a mouthful, but I put it all in there. I competed in off-road motorcycle racing, frequently running a BSA Hornet and using the alias Harvey Mushman. That's the name. In 1964, I was part of the first ever official US team entry into the Silver Vase category of the International 6-Day Trial, an enduro-type off-road motorcycle event that year was held in Erfurt, West Germany. He did off-road motorcycle racing basically in 1964. That's another way of saying it. And arguably the motorcycle I'm most famous for riding is a Triumph TR6 along with Bud Ekins in 1963. That's maybe another big clue.
Yeah.
So if you think you know who that is, send us an email, podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk, or get in touch with us somehow. We got Twitter, Discord, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you don't want anybody else to know it and you want to be sneaky piggy, send us that email. And it's alright if you Google it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have to Google this one. I got it straight away, but that's only because I'm a fan. So,
Yeah, I thought you might have known it. I thought it was kind of up your street for I thought, like, I know when it comes to motorbike racing knowledge and stuff, we're not the best at it. But I thought when it came to this person, I thought this is within the sort of anorak that Ash might be well rehearsed in.
No, it's a good one.
Right, so if you listen to the show, you'll know usually after that we go on to the news.
We do.
We normally do a catch-up, so we're going to do the catch-up now, and then we're just going straight into the race, and we'll keep the news for a bit later. Just changing it up this week, keeping it fresh.
Keeping it fresh for you guys. Threw you all off, didn't we? Threw you all off. No. Oh, my God.
Not like me on a Sunday morning in a cold tent in Brands Hatch.
Do you know what, usually, when I'm in a sleeping bag, I will have my head, the top half of my body will be out of the sleeping bag, because I usually get too hot. And that was not the case. I had hood over, I'd zipped it up, velcroed. I had one tiny little hole, air hole, that was it. Because it was that freaking cold.
I just couldn't. Well, I didn't think. I lay there all night, and I swear I thought I didn't sleep a wink. And then you were like, "Did you remember me getting up and going to the toilet?" And I was like, "No, I don't remember that. I must have fell asleep at some stage.
Yeah, you did.
I must have fallen asleep."
And then obviously I fell asleep because you were like, "Oh, you were fucking snoring."
Yeah, you were snoring, and I can remember at about 2:00 being awake and just lying there and thinking, "This is horrible. I can't sleep." And that was really strange because we're talking about the Saturday night, Sunday morning here when we couldn't sleep, or I couldn't sleep and whatever. And on the Saturday, we had watched the BSB.
Yep.
We had watched the sprint race and the other races, like the heats for the F900. And I had 7 beers?
Yeah, you had more. You had more than that altogether because
but at the race at the side of the circuit, I had 7 beers, and then we went back to hospitality.
Yeah.
And the other dude gave us a couple more beers, and then he brought down a bottle of whiskey, and we had some. And I had some whiskey as well. So I think I ended up having 9 or 10 beers.
You did because Fran brought you some Staropramen, and then he got the Tam Novalin out, didn't he?
Yeah. But I must have slept a little bit, and then I woke up in the tent, and I had just reflux. I just ate too much. Because we were in hospitality, and I don't normally eat that much when I'm drinking anyway, but there was so much food out, and it was eat, nobody else is eating it, just eat. I just felt like, because I was a guest there, I just kind of felt like, I kind of feel obligated to eat food. Just just lying in bed, and I was like,
looked after us, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Looked after us massively.
No, it was cold. I had an air mattress, but I didn't have a pump for it. I do have a pump for it, but the pump is a 3-pronged plug. I don't have an attachment to go into my car socket. So I thought, I'm I'm going to be stuck with that. That's not going to work. I think if I had that air matters pumped up, it might have kept me a little bit further off the ground and maybe wouldn't have been as cold.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought my roll mat thing with me anyway. But
all in all, the weekend was brilliant. It was class.
It was great. It was really, really good.
Like there was a little bit of rain on Saturday. There was a touch of rain on Saturday.
There was,
but it wasn't too bad. There was
bad.
Well, I'd say a touch of rain. There was a downpour just before qualifying started, wasn't there?
There was.
Because we were in the hospitality tent, and
started hailing,
and then the rain just started to hail, come down, and all the guys in the tent were like, "Oh shit, what are they going to do? Are they going to go out?" And I think they delayed.
They did. They delayed it, didn't they? And that's when we thought, well, we may as well stay in here rather than going out and getting absolutely soaked.
Yes.
While we sat there in hospitality watching people getting drenched, and it's like, ha ha, we're important. I'll just sit here and have a hot chocolate while you're getting soaked.
Yeah, it was good. I remember at one stage some dude, just like us, but we were in the hospitality tent, so we felt a little bit higher in stature than what normal dudes were. And this dude popped his head in and he was like, "Mate, I just want to know, is Michael Dunlop racing this weekend?" We were like, "No, mate, he's not here."
as if we weren't there.
We're guys. We know
these.
We're just here to eat. We're just here to eat their food.
Oh God!
And we did only like what was it say? Magically, what's the word for it? Miraculously, that's it. We did only seem to miraculously turn up around breakfast time and lunchtime.
Yeah, but it was well, like I say, usually I always pop my head in and just say, "Do you need a hand with anything?" But they didn't need any help this weekend, so
yeah.
Like I said, when I was at the park, I helped out quite a bit because they didn't have as many hands around. But
no, I felt. I'm really glad I went. Really enjoyed the experience. Their hospitality was brilliant, and it was good to be closer into the BSB paddock because you get to see a lot more about what's going on behind the scenes. You just get to feel it a bit more.
Yeah.
You just get to understand a bit more about what's going on. Like whenever you're listening to if there's and it's not just with the team you're with, but you just hear a little bit more and you feel a little bit more about whenever there's problems or if somebody has an off or.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if there's rain and you can feel a bit of panic throughout the whole team about what they're going to do. If they set the bike up right, do they have to change the setup for the bike? And it's good to be in there and see that and feel that atmosphere. And
well, it's like I didn't realise that. Maybe not all bikes do this, or all teams do this, but obviously we were with Hawk Racing and Charlie Nesbitt was racing for them that weekend, as he always does. And when they changed from the slicks to the wet tyres, they didn't just change the wheels, they changed the suspension as well.
Yeah, they have to change everything.
With the suspension out, new suspension, it's like, Jesus Christ. I thought they usually just changed the wheels over, but...
No, because they'll have
a setting for wet, won't they?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk like I'm an expert or anything, but I know it from watching MotoGP when they're talking about a flag-to-flag race or they have to change bikes. Like everything gets changed.
Yeah, but the thing
because if you're thinking if you're in a dry like I'm gonna say it like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. So if I'm wrong, somebody feel free to send us a message and tell me I'm a dummy. But if you're on a dry setting with slicks on, you can brake a lot harder. The suspension's going to push forward. The suspension's going to push forward quite aggressively, and you end up doing top rack sort of endo where the back wheel comes up. But if your suspension's that aggressive, whenever you're in wets, it's going to put too much pressure on the wet tire. Is it not? So you need your suspension to be a lot softer so that doesn't happen. Or maybe you want it to be, I don't know, maybe you want it to be harder, I'm not sure.
Well, the thing is though, like with MotoGP, they've always got that spare bike, so that's already set up for a wet bike. It's already set up, whereas in BSB they only have the one bike, so they have to change it all there and then.
You have to change everything. Well, that's probably why whenever the rain starts, they're probably like, let's just give the guys an extra 15, 20 minutes before we do the qualifying. Give them a chance to get everything sorted out because obviously safety's paramount. But we're already talking about BSB. This is why we're going to change it a little bit this week. Do you want to just start talking about the racing?
Yeah, so we watched most of it, didn't we? We watched most of the racing. Some of the bits we missed.
We watched all the British Superbikes, the Super Sport. It's not to say that I didn't enjoy it or didn't like it. But the Super Sport, the competition's already been.
Yeah, we already knew who had won, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
But that stage,
it wasn't that. Not saying it's not interesting, but obviously we just wanted because it was so tight with everything that was going on with Glenn Irwin and Tommy Bridewell. That's what everybody was there for, really. I mean.
Oh yeah, and the place was
It was rammed.
And I was speaking to people and they were saying that like previous years and previous rounds, like they've never seen it like that. Or it's very, very seldom they see it like that. And I was like, this is the beer monster Ducati effect. People who maybe normally wouldn't come, people who normally watch it on TV and think about would it go, or maybe they go to the one round here and there. There's a lot of people thinking, I'm definitely going to Brands Hatch for the last round of the season. Because it was so tight. And there was so much needle between Glenn and Bridewell.
There really was,
Tommy Bridewell. So much needle. And I don't think I don't think the needle was inflamed in any way. I don't think any of that animosity or aggression was inflamed. I think it was all natural. Like Tommy Bridewell said at the end, Glenn Irwin brought out the best and worst of them. I think a lot of it was very natural. So I don't think there was any real animosity, but everybody could feel it. The fans could feel it. Oh, God. We could feel it. That last race, I know we're just kind of delving and everywhere here, but that last race when we were standing at the start and finish, and whenever Glenn took the lead, or whenever Glenn got second, Bridewell was fourth or whatever, but whenever Glenn took the lead and Kyle Ryde was third and Tommy Bridewell was second, the cheer, there was just one half of the crowd was like, God! And you're like, oh, there's the Glenn Irwin fans. And I was cheering too. I was cheering for Glenn Irwin. And then whenever Tommy Bridewell passed Kyle Ryde and effectively was in the championship winning spot, then the other half
Tommy Bridewell are going, and we're going, fuck you.
We're all standing there like, wah, wah, wah. Oh, it was brilliant. Right, let's get some of the results up for the weekend.
I think that was the most glued to a race I have ever been to, though. You could feel you could just feel. I couldn't stand still. You couldn't stand still. You were shaking at one point. I thought you were cold.
I can't. I can never stand still.
I know, but I thought you were shivering as if you were cold. And they're like, "You all right?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm just fucking tense, man."
Yeah, it was shaky.
I thought, do you want a coat or something like?
But you think about the sprint race. I'm just looking back at the results of the sprint race, because leading into it, we knew that Kyle Ryde and Jason O'Halloran and Leon Haslam and they all had a mathematical possibility of winning the championship. Yeah. So he came into the sprint race. Kyle Ryde won the sprint race. Jason O'Halloran came second. Tommy Bridewell was third and Glenn Irwin was fourth. Yeah. That was a brilliant race too.
It was.
Really, really good.
Great.
Race. We watched that up at the Herpen. What was that Herpen called?
Oh, now you're asking me.
The Herpen, before they come up to the Herpen, before they go down and go on to the...
What's it called? So you got
before they go on.
You got Hill, is it Hillwood Hill, up to Druids Corner,
and
down, and then it was that next corner. Oh.
And then they go down onto the Cooper Straight.
Yes.
You sure it wasn't Druids we were standing at?
No, we were standing at Druids.
Hold on a second, I've got a programme.
Yeah, we were standing at Druids on the Saturday. Yes, yeah, it was Druids. On the Saturday, that's where we stood, because we had to go over the bridge to get to it. So on the Saturday, we were at Druids, because Fran was with us. I thought you were on about this. Yeah. I thought you were on about the Sunday. That's what I thought you were talking about.
No, Sunday we were at Surtees.
Surtees, that's it. That's what I was trying to get in my head. Yeah. But no, we were at Druids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Druids.
Class corner.
As you said Druids, I was like, I think it's Druids. Yeah, really, really good. The only problem with it is there's a TV screen at the Graham Hill Bend.
There is.
And you just see the back. You just see the back of it from Druids. But it was a really good corner because you could see them coming up behind you in Halewoods Hill round Druids, and you could see them going down.
I mean, that corner, you cannot get any closer to the bikes on that corner. They are like there. You're practically next to the track.
Was there with his camera.
He was, yeah.
Good spot to take a picture. So next year, if you're going with a camera and you want to get some good shots, go to Druids.
Yeah, definitely.
Good spot.
Especially because they have to slow down for that corner before the straight. So you can get a really good shot there.
I wouldn't want to see it. I wouldn't want to see them go round it if they tried to keep the speed on. Yeah, so we were at Druids. We were watching that race, and it was, if I remember correctly, it was more of a race. Like, it was not obvious, but it was fairly. You were fairly sure that Tommy Bridewell, because Tommy Bridewell was in third for most of it, but it looked fairly sure that he wasn't really going to get much of an attack on either Kyle Ryde or Jason O'Haller, and that's what it looked like from where I was, or from we were. Like I said, we didn't have a TV, so we couldn't see everything else, but it looked. You could see Glenn Irwin was moving his way up from like sixth or so. He was moving up, but there looked to be a solid race between Kyle Ryde and Jason O'Halloran, which I think at the end it was almost like a photo
it
finish.
was. Yeah, they were literally like Kyle Ryde pipped him just by. It's got to have been a split second or something because it was tight. Very tight.
I watched it back and I watched it on the Sunday morning when we went back into hospitality, miraculously again just around breakfast time. It was on Eurosport. They had Eurosport on the TV and they were re-showing the sprint race again. Yeah, God, it was close. Like, it's one of them. I'm really glad I was there and watching it, but imagine watching that on TV as well. It was really good. Anybody that watched it on TV.
It was really good.
Been tight.
But I obviously, because it was the sprint race and because the championship was so close between Tommy and Glenn, I would have said they could have pushed more and they could have got further up, I think, but I just don't think they wanted to push that too much in the sprint because neither of them wanted to chuck it up the road, especially when there's two more rounds.
Yeah, I agree.
More points in the other races, only half points in the sprint. So
I do agree with that, but also, same similar point, Kyle Ryde still was mathematically having a chance and he was pushing. But I guess...
He was fantastic all weekend. He was brilliant to watch.
Was really good all weekend.
Really good to watch. I mean, I know we're jumping backwards and forwards between races here, but on the Sunday, that pass he did and passed both Glenn Irwin and Tommy Bridewell.
God, yes.
That was a gutsy move. And he took them both on the inside, and I was like, everyone was going,
oh my God, that was class.
That was so good.
That was class. That was one of the best overtakes BSB this season.
That was
in fact, it probably was the best.
It probably was.
It was class.
Nobody was expecting it. He just chucked it up.
Right, let's have a little chat about race 2. Right, ultimately we know Kyle Ryde was in with a chance, but we all know what happened. Tommy Bridewell won the championship, and let's take the opportunity. Well, let me take the opportunity, or I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate Tommy Bridewell. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie about it. Obviously, I wanted Glenn Irwin to win. I was a Glenn Irwin fan from the very beginning. I never changed my mind. I wasn't like, oh, Tommy Bridewell said this, Tommy Bridewell said that. I thought Tommy Bridewell was a bit of a dick with some of the things he said, but he said himself that Glenn Irwin brought out the best of him and the worst of him. And you know what? I don't care. Tommy Bridewell and Glenn Irwin they produced some of the most amazing racing we've seen all year in any championship. And there are still some people who need to be a keyboard warrior and comment on Facebook and stuff about, no, I don't like the way he did this. You know what? Anybody who can put their leg over a bike like that and ride the way they can and entertain us and put their life in the line. If she wants to get off the bike, I know I might comment about it, but realistically, wants it off the bike, say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want, within reason, obviously. But, adrenaline's pumping. You maybe elated, you're angry, you don't know how to deal with it. None of us would. But, yeah, very, very deserving champion. Brilliant. I think he raced a fantastic season. Obviously he did because he became the champion. So well done, Tommy Bridewell. Deserve it. and roll on next year to see if he can defend it, or to see if Glenn can bounce back, or to even see if Kyle Ryder or any of them can come at it.
Yeah.
But race 2, like we already mentioned, we watched race 2 at Surtees.
We did, and that was great, wasn't it? I mean, except from the when we were watching, obviously the race. Anyone that watched it on TV will know that Jason O'Halloran came off on Surtees corner. Now, me and Sam were stood there at the fence, and we were watching the bikes come past. Jason O'Halloran came up to us, and obviously they took the front, and he hit the ground. And I'm not joking you, I absolutely shat myself. I sort of shook a little bit because I thought, shit, what's going on? I looked down, and he's just flying across in front of us, across the grass. Bikes flipping all over the place, and he's fucked off to the other end of the grass. I was genuinely, oh, holy shit, don't like that. The sound was unbelievable. Caught me right off guard.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was okay. He walked away from it, but it just looked horrendous. It looks more horrendous in real life than it is on TV.
I sent a tweet out. I said I was standing at Surtees and Jason O'Halloran lost the front coming out by the Cooper Straight. Not sure how it was for him, but it scared the absolute bejesus out of me. Thankfully, he walked away, albeit a little frustrated. Because he came, like you said, he came out, Cooper's corner, and he was just about to bank it left to go round Surtees, give it some gas. The front lost the front, and then you just heard the scrape. Front fairing went into the gravel, started spinning, and he's skittering across. I'm just reiterating everything you're saying. Absolutely flying. Like, he's flying. 100 and something miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't hanging about, was he?
He's there on his lillers. He's just in it for the ride. Now, like, if I crashed like that, I would need about a month before I could back in the bike. I'd be up shaking. I would go see counselling. I'd be like, oh, smoking. Are you sure you're right? Don't know, Doc. Don't know what I can do. I mean, maybe I'm using a bit of hyperbole, but, basically what I'm saying is a bit of shaking.
Yeah,
up.
Definitely.
Jason O'Halloran gets up, and he just starts kicking the ground, and he's punching. You can just tell how pissed off there. He's not even thinking about the severity of the crash. He's just thinking, fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously we've seen the marshal just sort of walking along with the front end of his fairing, just like, oh, well, that's where that went then.
And speaking of crashes, this is going off a little bit. I think this is a super stop, was it? The Richard Cooper crash.
Yes, he flew straight into the bloody wall.
His bike went flying, and almost over the top of the air fence, and the two marshals had to go running.
Very nearly did, yeah. And he hit that air wall at some, whatever it is called, at some fair pace, like slammed straight into that.
Yeah.
If that hadn't have been there, I don't think he'd be here. Yeah, really.
That was scary. And then, even for them marshals, obviously, earlier on this year, we had a marshal who paid the ultimate price at the Southern 100.
Yeah.
So, fair play to them men in orange, but who just give up their own time to marshal the sport. But I seen that, and I'd because I'm never going to be a motorbike racer, but I could be a marshal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I was empathizing for them. I was kind of standing in their shoes, seeing the bike come, and just thinking, shit. But obviously, we don't like to see big crashes. But whenever it happens, and everybody walks away, and everybody's okay, you can look back on it and think, whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a fair bit of crashing this weekend.
But race 2 was a really good race as well. They were all really great, good races.
Yeah, it really was.
And we got such a good little spot.
We
for
did.
It too, didn't we?
Well, we were looking for it, weren't we? Down the fence line, and I seen that. I looked down this one little in between, like an Arctic and a toilet block, and there was like a pipe that was kind of like pissing out a bit of water, and everyone was obviously avoiding that pipe. And I thought, you know what, screw it, we'll go down there. And we just found that little area, didn't we? And then all of a sudden, loads of people piled in behind us.
I think everybody was just put off because it was behind the toilets, and we're like, nope,
that'll do. Yeah, lovely spot. We also saw they had the sidecars this weekend as well, as you know. But there was a horrific one when obviously the sidecar had flipped and the passenger was like going to walk off, and he was sort of looking around to see where his driver was, and he's still in the bloody sidecar, and he obviously flipped it up, had to flip it over, and his mate crawled out. That was horrendous.
we were speaking to our mate Fran back in the hospitality, and he was it him that was saying that there was another sidecar where the driver just had to pull up because his passenger had disappeared. He pulled up and he was like,
where's he gone?
Where's he gone?
I was going to say, where's he gone?
No, I was going to say.
Yeah, so he was going round with no passenger. It must have felt a bit sketchy.
Yeah. Oh, the racing was brilliant. Race 3, obviously race 3 was real. We've already talked a little bit about the crowds cheering for Bridewell and Irwin. And it was so tense. You could have cut the atmosphere with a knife. Oh, brilliant. And the race itself was really good too. And that was whenever Kyle Wright did that amazing pass.
That pass was just...
And at one stage we thought Ryan Vickers was going to get involved, and he was involved for a bit of it.
He was involved for a bit of it. And he was being a very good teammate at one point. You know, he was just holding back Tommy Bridewell in 4th place. Obviously, Tommy eventually got the better of him, but no, it was just wall-to-wall scrapping, just all the way through. And I love that Kyle, even though they'd got him out in front of him, he just thought, do you know what? I've got nothing to lose here. Fuck it. Chuck it underneath him.
Yeah, because you never know. He could have got into front, and Tommy Bridewell and Glenn Irwin could have been in such a race that they could have brought each other off, and then he would have went on and won the championship. So, because there was a part of me was thinking... once Glenn Irwin got in front, a part of me thought, well, if Kyle Wright stays where he's at, Glenn Irwin wins the championship. But then there was and I'm not saying anybody was playing any games or had any favouritism, but there was a part of me thought, well, he knows he's not going to win the championship now, so why would he care? But then you do have to think about it. Well, you never know.
No, you don't. They could have wiped each other out. I mean, look at what happened a few meetings ago. Tommy Bridewell wiped out Glenn Irwin. It can happen. It was just
you go back.
Brilliant.
You go back to round 1.
Bloody hell, okay.
Glenn Irwin in the sprint race finished 5th, right? And in the race 2 he finished 3rd. And then he won race 3. But I'm just going back to there and thinking about that 5th place. If he would have got 4th place, he would have won the championship.
I mean, that's the closest championship I've ever seen. Half a point.
Well, I think... I'm not sure about the year. Might have been like 2012, 13, 14, 15. I'm not sure about the year, but World Superbikes was won and lost on half a point.
Was it?
1 year.
No, right.
Yeah. I think it was Eugene Lavery lost the championship by half a point. I can't remember who to. I think it might have been Max Biaggi or something he lost the championship to. Or Carlos Checa, maybe. Oh, I don't even know. I may be wrong about that. I may be way off with that. But then he was with Aprilia, and then the following year he went in MotoGP, and it never really worked out. But yeah, he lost the championship by half a point. I'm pretty sure it was him. Or was it? I know it was pretty tight one year whenever, not Ben. Who's the Yorkshire rider at Red for Kawasaki? Forget his name.
Tom Sykes.
Tom Sykes, that's it. Tom Sykes. It was pretty close whenever he won it. It was down to half a point. So it has been half a point before. Well, that's not British Superbikes. But, race or championships have been won and lost in half a point before. And again, going back to 2014, I think whenever Alex Lowe's won it, I'm not sure if it was 2014 around that, but whenever Alex Lowe's won it, I remember that last weekend, they went out, and it was between him and Shaky Byrne. And obviously Shaky Byrne was going for his 4th or 5th title, and Alex Lowe's was going for his 1st. Yeah. And I can remember Lowe's coming off. I think it was Lowe's that came off first in like the 1st or the 2nd or 3rd race or something. It must have been the 1st or 2nd race. And then that was it. Everybody was like, oh my God, Alex Lowe's has just thrown the championship away. He's come off. Yeah. And I think it was maybe even the same race or the following race, but it was like they were very close to each other. And then Shaky Byrne come off, and it was just like, oh my God, yeah. There's another twist. Yeah. So, yeah, not just British Superbikes, but, motorbike racing does throw up a lot of excitement.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there was a few other rides that was on that weekend, like the F1, the F900s had Troy Bayliss. Was it not Troy Bayliss? Troy Corso was there. Yeah. Which needed something for the F900s to bring in a bit of excitement because everybody knew Rich Cooper was going to win it.
Yeah.
And obviously, there was a few other championships that was decided. You had... Let me get my notes up. I do recall some of the names off the top of my head. Dan Lamfett won the National Superstock. Richard Cooper won the F900 Cup. That was obvious. And the Junior Superstock was won by Owen Jenner. And obviously, we know that Ben Curry, before I say his name wrong, Ben Curry had already won it. The Supersport.
And that could have been Tom Booth Amos's. Could have been.
Well, I know I do say that, and I think if Tom Booth Amos had concentrated on the Supersport, the British Supersport,
yes,
rather than trying the Worlds as well, because first and foremost, he missed at least 2 rounds from going to World Supersport, and then they also had mechanicals, and I don't know if the team was stretched a bit thin or not, but I don't want to take anything away from Ben Curry. Ben Curry would probably argue that had Tom Booth Amos been there, he still would have won and got enough points to win the championship. So we can only say F's, buts and maybes, but at the end of the day, Ben Curry is the champion and a deserved champion at that because, like I said, anybody that can put a leg over the bike and go fast.
Definitely, yeah.
If they win races, they deserve a championship. Right, we'll start. Do you want to go on and talk about MotoGP?
Yeah, can do. Obviously, I haven't watched as much of it as you because you were watching it while you couldn't sleep. So
yeah. Well, I'll just I sent a message out in our Discord today asking if anybody wanted to send us a message, and we got one back from Ryan C. I'll just read out what he said. He talks about BSB and then he goes on to talk about MotoGP. So I think it's about a good time to read out his message. Firstly, Ryan, cheers for getting in touch. We love it whenever people get in touch. We are going to try and push with Discord more. So if you want to get involved, get onto our Discord. You can send us some messages and we can read it out in the show. And if you don't want us to, just tell us not to. Ryan, you don't have a choice. We're just going to read this out this time. So he said, BSB, fantastic last round. The super bikes had me on the edge of my seat right till the very end. Got to feel sorry for Glenn Irwin being so close. We'll be interested next year to see if the OMG Yamaha boys can challenge for the title with the Yamaha factory support. Really enjoyed the support classes, especially the Junior Superstock, and seeing Troy Corsa on the BMW F900. Troy Corsa would have been a good one to get an interview, as if you'd like to talk to him. to get an autograph from.
Yeah, well, it would have been, wouldn't it? But we didn't do the pit walk, so.
No, we didn't.
Because it was on too bloody early.
Well, we didn't. Yeah, it was like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's breakfast
It's
time.
Usually around midday.
Yeah. Ryan also said, this is going on to MotoGP, he says, Pecco Bagnaia will feel like a new man after this weekend. Still not quite sure what happened to Martin. We'll talk about that. Hope he isn't reverting to his previous form years ago where he had a fair few crashes. Yes, hope not. Not because I want him to win or not, but because it's just better for the championship.
Yeah, it's more interesting, isn't it?
They both stay on the bike. He says, we'll be interested to see what happens going forward. Seems the majority of the paddock were complaining about the track being dirty and unused. That's similar to what it was like in Argentina. Remember in Argentina, they were saying it because they don't use the track much. It's a bit greasy, it's a bit dirty, it's a bit dusty. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Yeah.
He said, great rides from Fabio and DG and Antonio, who got like 5th and 6th, I believe.
Yeah.
And he believes they could, well, who could be now auditioning for the vacant Honda seat? That must be DG and Antonio. We'll talk about that later. Moto2, Ryan says that it was just a standard Moto2 race, really. It was. And he's mentioned the Moto3. He's just asked, does Holgado want to win the title? You've not watched Moto3, have you? So he says, does Holgado want to win the title? And he's referring to a corner that Holgado cut.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, Ryan, thanks for getting in touch.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Gives us something to talk about.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Lets us know what you want. Yeah, it lets us know what you want us to talk about. So we'll kind of keep it to that. And I'll probably digress as well because I talk nonsense most of the time. Right. So, MotoGP.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into that one.
Um,
Did you watch it? You watched one of the races because we watched one in hospitality.
Yeah, but I watched the sprint with you because we watched that in the tent after the BSB.
Well, that's whenever I fell asleep.
Yeah.
That's the only sleep I got. No, let me tell the listeners where I watched a bit of the sprint race. So, I was driving down the M11 because I was going down to Gatwick to pick up Ash. Oh, we never even mentioned Ash. That was the first time in like 2 years we actually saw each other face.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah. Yeah, it was good.
So I was going to say. So I was driving down. The M11 and I thought I better stop and get fuel because it'll save me getting fuel on the way home. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking. You see, I'm tapping my head, doing the thinking.
Yeah.
I was going to say the thinking meme. I don't know what I mean. Expression. So I thought I'll get fuel now. And just at that moment, I thought, oh, check and see when the MotoGP's on. I turned it on, and they were on the warm-up lap. And I was like, yeah, boy. So I walked into my car. I did what everybody would do. I put the MotoGP on in my car, didn't I? And I was driving down the M11. Right eye on the traffic, left eye on the race. To be honest, I treated it more like a radio station.
Yeah, I've done that before. I have had when I was, the TT was on, and I was driving, I just had it, like, playing through my speakers so I could listen to it.
Yeah. So I had one eye on the race, but like I said, like you said, if I did watch it again, well, I tried to. I fell asleep because I was 9-10 beers in and some Tom Navalin after the BSB and the tent. But the sprint race, they were saying that they all thought the Aprilias were going to do really well.
Mm-hmm.
And Maverick Vinales took off like a body of hell.
He did,
That was him. He was out front. And you were just about to say it there. You were about to say Marc Marquez, were you?
No, I was about to say Marco Bezzecchi with bloody not long broken his collarbone. Did absolutely fantastically.
Yeah.
And also...
And I think Luke Marini had like a broken hand or something.
Yes, and he did really well as well. Fair play to him, you know.
I'm not sure what happened to Bagnaia because he never even got out of Q1. His problem was qualifying. He went through qualifying and he didn't even get out of Q1. No. I don't know why. I don't know what happened.
No, I don't either.
So he was stuck. So he was way back. Let's see, qualifying. Q1. Bagnaia got third in Q1.
Yeah.
So that means he was 12. He was starting in 13th place.
Yeah.
He was behind his teammate Bastianini on the grid. But to be honest, Luca Marini, well, he might have done better in Q2. Right, so Q2. Luca Marini was in top spot.
Yeah, he
qualified pole.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so they took off. Bagnaia obviously had a bad start, or just a bad weekend. But up until this point, he had a bad weekend because he finished the race in the 8th place. We know Marc Marquez come off. He doesn't care anymore.
No. He's off to Grassini. Screw it. He can throw up the road if he wants to.
He's apparently come out and said that he wasn't even pushing. He just wanted to get round and finish the race. That's obviously his mentality now. He's like, I just want to finish the race, and he crashed.
Shock.
And yeah. And was it Alex Espargaro that took off Brad Binder?
Alex Espargaro, yes. He
tried to go up the inside of Brad Binder and took him off.
Now, Binder got a long lap penalty though, didn't he?
That was race 2.
Oh, was that race 2? Sorry. Right, I'm talking about race 2. Right, screw that. He took the front, didn't he, and just took him off.
Yeah.
Just racing incident. Racing incident. It is. He didn't do it maliciously. It fucking happens, doesn't it?
It does. And then, so it looked like Maverick Vinales was maybe going to secure himself
I thought he was going to take it because he was on it. He really was. I didn't think anyone was catching him, but they did.
Yeah, but whenever the Martinator took off, I thought it's only inevitable. I thought Martin will get him here, and then once Martin got him, it just seemed. Maverick Vinales doesn't do very well once he gets past.
No.
His head can go.
Absolutely. as we've seen in the past.
I'm not sure if that's what happened, or if maybe his tyres went. They just maybe he'd used them up too much. Obviously, we know Luca Marini and Bezzecchi got past him to get second and third, and Vinales was fourth, and Quartararo got fifth. Quartararo's having a good end to the season.
He is, actually, yeah.
He's had a few...
Doing a lot better.
He's had a few good... Like, obviously, he's not winning races, and he's... Like, his podiums are coming at the expense of other people's crashes, but you still have to be up there, you know what I mean? I'm not saying all these podiums are doing that. That's a disservice to him. But... he just seems to have quietly just went about his work. Obviously, he says the odd thing, Yamaha's not good enough this season.
Well, it's not.
He's not out, mate. He's not. It's not. He's not out making headlines for the wrong reasons. Is what I'm saying. He just seems to be getting on with it, realizing that maybe the work has to be done from my end. I'm the one that has to go into the off season, test the bike, figure out what's going. Obviously, with likes of Carl Crutchlow testing as well.
Yeah.
And who's the new Yamaha rider? Alex Rins.
But yeah, like you say, Quartararo obviously hasn't had a great season because the Yamaha hasn't been up to performance spec. Same with the Hondas. They haven't been up to performance either, and that's why they haven't been able to do as well. But yeah, just recently, Quartararo's been up there, and he seems to. I don't know. He looks more comfortable on the Yamaha, I think, towards the back end of this season. I'm not sure if they've made many changes or they're getting data from somewhere else. I don't know. But he just definitely seems to be doing a lot better towards this back end, which is good to see because I've never had a problem with Quartararo. I quite like him as a rider. And I always like to see Yamaha do well.
Yeah, but I think, back to your point, I think Quartararo has just quietly gone about it. He realises the bike's shit. There's not much you can do about it this season. But I guess every race they go to, and this is another point I'll come to, every race he goes to, he goes out, he races a race, they get some data. Data or data? Do you say data or data?
I say data. I don't say data. I think data's an American way of saying it, isn't it?
I usually say data, though. Data.
Hey man.
Because I'm from
Let's
Northern
get some
Ireland.
data. Get some data downloaded.
Data. All right. Well, data. That sounds weird as well. But anyways, so he goes out, he races, he qualifies, he sprints, he races, he gets some data, he brings it back week in, week out, and then he can improve the bike. Whereas the Hondas are going out, and everybody will go, but the Hondas are crap, wah, wah, wah. But the Hondas are going out, and they're throwing, at the start of the season, they were just throwing up the road all the time.
Yeah, they were.
And I think this was what Mark Marquez had, this sort of idea where I'm going to go out and I'm going to race as hard as I can. I'm going to try and win this was at the start of the season at least. I'm going to try and win the race. And it's like, well, that's not going to happen. You're just going to crash.
Yeah.
You dumbass.
Which
that's what you're going to do.
is what he did do.
And he even said himself, eventually he was like, I'm just going to take my time and try and get some data. And it's like, we should have been doing that from the start. And it seems like Quartararo he's had that mentality. He's just going to go out, just go to race and go to do as well as I can. If I finish 10th, finish 10th.
Yeah.
Finish last. And they've got some more information on it, and maybe throughout the year they've slowly been able to improve the bike. And who knows what they'll be able to do in the off season?
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
The one thing about Yamaha is, though, I believe it's the only bike now on the track that's still an inline 4.
I think it is.
And the rest of them are all V4s. But yeah, with Quartararo, though, you know, if that had been like, say, Aleix Espargaro, and don't get me wrong, I like Aleix Espargaro, but fucking hell, he can complain. If he had been on that Yamaha, he would have been bitching to no end about that bike. And it would be all over social media.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you say, Quartararo's just gone, do you know what? Let's just get on with it. And do you know what?
Get Vinales. Vinales was on the Yamaha years ago, and he wasn't too happy about it, and he was trying to wreck the engine.
He was, yeah.
Now I know there might have been some behind the scenes, maybe he wasn't getting enough love. Oh, hug me, give me love. He wasn't getting enough attention, but apparently, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Maybe he wasn't being treated fairly at all. But
well, maybe Yamaha
point is we're
get V4 in it.
Yeah. Our point is, Quartararo has gone about his job quite well, considering he's not
very professional
at the heights he feels. Yeah. And then you've already mentioned that this weekend the sprint race was fantastic from Marini with a broken hand and Bezzecchi with a broken collarbone.
Yeah.
I guess that's what the sprint offers with 10, 12 laps.
Yep.
And then comes the actual race. Now, we watched the race in hospitality,
We did.
didn't we? Because this was just before anything really started.
Well, hold on. We watched the race up until the last 2 laps and the power cut out.
Oh, yeah. And then we were all scrambling to get it on our phones.
And
I've got it on my
and then
phone.
you had it on your phone, and then Steve had it on his phone, and we were kind of just switching between phones because they kept buffering. And then the power came back on. It was like, oh, race is finished.
Yeah, we're still trying to watch on our phones that gives us the result. But what had happened had already happened by that stage. So I think the biggest talking point with the actual main race, everybody that's listening to this podcast has probably already seen the race. So there's no point going into it in great detail. What was the biggest talking point? The biggest talking point was Martin coming off.
Absolutely.
He was well in the lead.
He really was.
He was well in the lead. He was... do you remember whenever Neil Hodgson said, he's like a clubman rider? The guys in Hawk Racing were like, if he's a clubman rider, he can come and ride for us. Or he can come and ride in BSB or something. Yeah. Some comment like that. And I was like, yeah. The guy's entitled to make a mistake.
Yeah,
Jesus,
of course
you know what I mean?
is, yeah.
He's like... Jorge Martin has been phenomenal the past couple of months. Like, he's been class. That's why he's took it from 66 points. And he was actually title leader at that stage. He was leading the championship. So I think it's a rare mistake. I don't like... Ryan asked the question in our Discord if maybe he's going to revert back to his old ways and become, inverted commas, a crasher. I don't think so. I think it's a rare mistake. Like they said, the track was a bit greasy, bit dirty, bit unused. And maybe he just lost his concentration a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a.
So you don't think the pressure? You don't think the pressure got to him in that race then, and it was just a little mistake. That's what you think?
No, I don't think the pressure got to him at all. I think he was just out front. He was ahead.
Yeah, he was.
He was out front.
Yeah.
I don't think it was pressure. I think he just maybe lost a little bit of concentration, which I think he's entitled
Absolutely.
to.
I mean, all races at some point in their lives have done it, haven't they?
Well, we all make mistakes.
Of course we do.
We all make mistakes. I drive Arctics for 11, and I have, on occasion, took the wrong turn. And believe you me, you're in an Arctic truck and you take the wrong turn, you start getting squeaky bum because you don't know if you're driving into a village or not. And we all make mistakes. We're all entitled to it.
Mm.
So he's done it. He's made a mistake, and at the end of the day, people are talking like it's the end of the world. He's still 18 points now, but
it's 18 or 17.
Is it 17
I think it's 17.
Something like that.
He's still a title contender. I mean,
oh yeah, of course.
Still plenty of races left. He can still do it.
Right, Bagnaya's in 46 points. He's in 28. 18 points.
Yeah, 18. There you go. I thought it was 17. I don't know why.
But that's nothing because there's 5 main races to go. So if he wins all 5 of them, he gains 25 points. I'm not saying he will win all 5, but he'll gain 25 points. And then there's 5 sprint races, which is 12 points?
Yeah, half points, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's still a title contender. Easily.
If Martin goes out in Phillip Island in Australia and wins both races, he's at least crawled back 8 points. So it's still everything to play for. 18 points is nothing when you've got 10 races left. And it's not to say that Bagnaya's not going to make another mistake. Bagnaya's got history through.
Well, he has, yeah. Did it a couple of meets ago,
didn't he? He's done
it
a few times this season. Yeah, that was nasty.
It was nasty.
Brad Binder running over.
Yeah.
Who did Brad Binder, inverted commas, knock off? Or did he knock off, or did they send him wide? So
he got a long lap penalty for it, but to me, it was a racing incident. When you look back at it,
so the riders that didn't finish was Johan Zarco. Don't think it was him.
No.
Martin came off of his own accord.
Yeah.
Fernandez, Joan Mir.
Wasn't Mir.
Marini. Marquez, Marini, and Paulus. Was it Paulus?
I think it was Paulus Spargro.
in the first lap.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. I don't. I think I personally, when I seen it, I thought it was just a racing incident. I don't think it should have been a long lap.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it did look a bit. Well, whenever I first seen it, there was contact, but it's going that fast, and you look at it and you think, I think there was 3 of them involved almost. I think Brad Binder was behind somebody, and Paul Espargaro was going around the outside, and then he just touched him, and it's like you're thinking, well, is Paul Espargaro maybe is Paul Espargaro perhaps in the wrong in some way for being on the outside of them? Is he off the racing line where Brad Binder has no other option? Because if Brad Binder is going to try and brake not to hit him, he's maybe going to lose the front, and then they're both going to come off.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and that's why it's a racing incident, because, well, he's online, you're maybe offline, or maybe you're. I don't think Brad Binder was like he didn't let the brake go and was thrown up the inside of him. He wasn't doing an Alonso Lopez.
No, definitely not.
I think they were both just going for the same bit of track, and like, if anything, Paul Espargaro, could he not have just left at his bike and lost a second or half a second? And
I think it was a racing incident. I don't think he should have got long lap penalty, but hey ho, he got one anyway. So
yeah, he did.
You can't argue with him. You can, but it's not going to change.
The 2 Repsol Hondas both crashed again. Mark Marquez had a horrible weekend.
Yes,
came off in the sprint race. Came off in the main race. I was doing my shocked face. I am shocked by this. Mark Marquez's crash.
And do you know what? Do you know who was a bigger shock? Johan Mir. He never falls off.
No. Okay.
Jesus Christ, he's having an absolute shocker.
He is having a terrible year.
Really bad.
And Zarco, he crashed as well, or he didn't finish at least. Don't know if it was mechanical or if he crashed, but he's also having a terrible year.
He is, yeah. You're right.
But that was MotoGP.
It was.
But it does all, like you say, it's all still to play for. The standings are that Bagnaia has 346 points, and Jorge Martinez 328. Sorry, so it's 18 points behind him. That's nothing with 10 races to go. That is nothing.
No.
And then you got Bezzecchi, who's further back with 283 points. I think I would say Bezzecchi's out of it. Mathematically, still won the race, but I think he's a bit too far away.
He probably is, yeah.
We probably said that about Kyle Wright a few weeks ago.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
So you never know, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
But I already can't wait to next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say I'm probably most looking forward to the BSB, though. Which I never thought I'd say, but
I don't know if it'll be the same next year.
I don't know.
As good as that next year.
I don't know.
It'll be hard to top that, though.
It will, yeah, really hard. Who are you going for next year, BSB? Glen Irwin?
I'll have to wait until the start of the season to see who's riding where. Probably. I just go for whoever's got the thickest Northern Irish accent. I'm going for him.
Nah, I think I'll be going for Carl Radigan.
Obviously, if they're fast as well. So, looking at Moto2, to be honest, I don't really want to go into Moto2 very much. It wasn't. I didn't
see it, but by the sounds of it, it didn't sound great.
Pedro Costa won.
Sam Lowe's stayed on. Sam Lowe's finished.
Oh, Sam Lowe's finished the race.
He finished the race.
There's a way in Discord to make noises.
There is.
I kind of feel like we should have
like an applause or a clap.
People in the background going, ah. But anyway, and that's not to take the piss. It's just that he has been crashing quite a lot the past few weeks. So happy days. He's finished the race.
Yeah.
I would like to see him finish the season strong. I'm not saying going out and win races, but at least get some confidence back. So whenever he goes into testing with his World Superbike team, he will be in the right mind frame.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Moto2 wasn't a classic. It wasn't a great race. Well, I say it wasn't a great race. They all just got where they were getting. they got into their positions and followed each other around for the most part. It's been like that for the past couple of weeks, and I'm sorry to say that because Moto2 I usually find Moto2 quite exciting, but this year it's turning into the Pedro Acosta.
Well, I mean, I think it's he has had a phenomenal season, and it's basically.
Think a few.
I was just going to say it's kind of like World Superbikes at the start of World Superbikes with Bautista. That's kind of what it's like, I think, for Moto2.
Well, you go back a few rounds ago, like around Silverstone time, and we were actually thinking, I was thinking at least, is Jack Dixon a contender? Because he wasn't that far away.
No, he wasn't,
He was like 40 points away. He's now 105 points behind Acosta. Now, you would say that's pretty much him out of the run.
I would say so. I would say so.
Tony Arbolino is 55 points behind Acosta. Now, I know it's mathematically possible.
But then Arbolino's been off the boil.
Yeah.
He's not been performing.
And there's only 5 races left, so even if he goes out and wins every race and Acosta only comes third, he only gets 45 points.
Yeah.
So basically what we've just said is if Acosta gets on a podium at all, even if it's third, even if he just gets on a podium for the next 5 races, he wins the championship. So and he's won like the past 2 or 3 races. It's likely that he's going to win the championship. So it is just becoming the Pedro Acosta show. But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not.
In my sense, because he's going to MotoGP and we want the hype.
Yes, we do. Of course we do. Definitely.
Because the last time we had such a phenomenal rider go into MotoGP, even though he did walk into a factory bike in 2013, he absolutely mopped the floor with everybody and won the championship in his first year. Yeah. So I don't think Acosta's going to do that. But he might.
Were you a little bit disappointed? Because I was disappointed when I found out that Acosta wasn't going to Red Bull KTM. I was a bit
You mean when he found out?
Well, I was a bit disappointed that he was going.
Getting a factory right?
I was a bit gutted when I found out he was going to Gas.
Yeah, I think KTM just put themselves in. They backed themselves into a bit of a corner.
Yeah,
really, because they were in contract with riders who, for one reason or another, they can't really get rid of. I know they probably could. Like, if they really put their foot down, they could probably do whatever they want. And that's not fair from one point of view. And thankfully, thankfully, they've got rid of Paul Espargaro, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
But Paul Espargaro, at least from what we've found out doing the podcast, Paul Espargaro has come out and said that he would want, if he races 2024, he would say that would probably be his last year, and then he wants to be a test rider.
Right.
KTM have basically just sped that up by a year. They're like, you want to be a test rider anyway, don't you? So we're getting rid of you.
Yeah.
Like, if he's saying stuff like that out loud, putting it on his social media or telling press, or if he's actually actively saying, I think I'll only do one more year, then become a test rider, KTM must be thinking, well, is his heart really in it then? We've got one of the most exciting riders since Marc Marquez, and we're struggling to find a place for him to go. And you're actively saying that your heart's not really in it, and he is coming back from a pretty bad accident as well. So all that, to me personally, I don't think he's being treated unfairly. I think he's not the accident part. That can happen. But I mean, coming out and saying that he wants to be a test rider.
It's not a clever thing to do, really, is it?
It's like what's that expression? You sewed your own. I don't know. You made your own bed or whatever. I don't know. There's an expression. I don't know what it is. But anyway, they had to get rid of somebody. They got rid of Paul Espargaro. I would like to have seen him go onto a factory.
See, I don't know why they didn't say to Jack Miller, right, you're going over to Gas, because we're putting Pedro on the factory. He would have still been in.
Because Jack Miller's probably
still been in MotoGP. Still would have been on KTM.
But Jack Miller's maybe got like Red Bull sponsors who would be like, well, you can't do that because we sponsor Jack Miller.
Maybe. Not that I don't like Jack Miller. It's just
know.
I think it would have been good to have had Pedro in the factory. But there you go.
Well, I can remember when Johann Zarco, and you know I like Johann Zarco, but Johann Zarco was a 2 times Moto2 champion. And he has very nearly won races at a time, but he went up into MotoGP, and he had to go into a satellite bike. He raced for Tech 3 Yamaha, or Tech 3 Yamaha. And he was teammates with Dovizioso, I think, at one stage, maybe Carl Crutchlow at one stage. But again, I thought a rider of his talent, who's a 2 times Moto2 champion, should be walking into a factory bike. But then you had the likes of Valentino Rossi, who was still hanging on, holding on to a factory ride. You're like, and that's like, again, you knew me years ago, and I was always saying Valentino Rossi should have retired years before he did. But you just think about riders who are just holding on, and there's not really many of them at the minute. Really.
No, there isn't.
There's not many factory riders at the minute. It was just, you could maybe say Marc Marquez maybe a little bit, but he's moving off a factory bike. So
yeah.
The point is, there's just nowhere for Acosta to go.
No. Yeah.
Unless he wants to go to a shit bike. He doesn't want to go to a shit bike. KTM's not going to get rid of.
No. Who knows if he does well? If he does well next year, then probably maybe go to KTM factory.
Well, I think that's the plan. I think that would be the plan.
Or he might just think, do you know what? I've done really well at KTM on the satellite bike. Okay, I'm going to go and see what Ducati are going to offer me.
No, I reckon he'll go factory. I reckon what KTM are doing, they've probably said to him, look, come into the gas bike, and next year contracts are running out. You know, next year is because they usually do like 2-year contracts or something like that. So next year's when it's like, you know, Jack Miller's contract will be coming to an end, and then we can put you on there, or Brad Binder's contract will be coming to an end, and we can maybe negotiate something there. But think about it, next year, you've got Marc Marquez, we'll talk about that later. Marc Marquez is going to be on a Gresini Ducati. Yep. Actually, we're getting into next year. Do you want to talk about Moto3 first before we start?
Go into Moto3. Like I say, I didn't watch Moto3 either, so...
Right, Moto3 was eventful. It was a pretty good race. I would say, even if we talk about it and I'll tell you what's going to happen, it's still worth going back and watching it. Really, really good race. So, they come out in the sighting lap. Sasaki crashed in the sighting lap.
Oh, God.
Not great. No. But he gets back on the bike. He gets it round. I can't remember if there's any mechanics coming out working on the bike or whatever. Excuse me. But he crashed on the sighting lap. They do their whole thing. Their whole not mumbo jumbo, but you know, the whole thing they like to do, and they play the music and they hype it up, and they're at the line, they do the warm-up lap, they're at the line, lights are going out, and 2 things happen, very quick succession. First of all, we don't find this out for a couple of laps, but first of all, Ivan Artola jumps the start. We don't find that out until like 2 or 3 laps, but he's right beside Sasaki, and we don't know if he puts him off, but Sasaki seems to just stall the bike and just stops, and everybody just goes past him.
Oh, no.
They end up losing like 4 or 5 seconds on the first lap. Now, it might have been because he crashed in the sighting lap. Maybe there's something wrong with his bike. Maybe he was a bit nervous. Maybe his head wasn't in the right place. Maybe Ivan Artola beside him jumping the start put him off. Who knows? But he went into the last corner just dead last.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And then like Ryan said, he was asking like, does Holgado want to win the title? He was referring to the fact that he was racing against Masia.
Oh yeah.
And because Sasaki had he was at the back, because of where they were at, I think Holgado had an opportunity to take the title lead. They're coming through. I think there was about 7 laps to go, and there's like turn 6 and turn 7, which is like a chicane, and then turn 8. It's like this slow, or not. It's not slow, but it's like a soft sort of right hand turn. And I think on a Moto3 bike, you're probably flat out. and then it goes into turn 9. But turn 8, Holgado just cuts the corner, like not even a little bit. Not even like, oh my God, did he, didn't he? You know, it's not Pedro Acosta. Everybody's putting memes out saying, look, you can, he just straight out cut the corner.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck off. Hey, fuck off, I'm just going straight on. And just gets into the front and then makes no attempt to try and give the place back. And so race direction had to be along that penalty, and he goes from first to 10th.
Oh, no.
It's like, what are you doing? First to 10th. And then Masia, by this stage is now winning the race, and because Holgado's back in 10th, Sazaki's like away down in like 19th or something because he had such a bad start. Masia's miles ahead, and you think, oh, he's going to run away with the championship now. He's going to get in, but then he ends up only finishing 6th. And you've got your usual suspects here up front. So let's get the results up for Moto3. You got David Moreira won the race. Alonso on the hype train.
Yes.
I hear that train a rolling. It goes around the bend. Can't sing too much of that. I'll be done for copyright. But David Alonso on the hype train still going. He got 2nd. David Munoz got 3rd. Valle got 4th. Antonio Rueda got 5th. And Masia got 6th. And that leaves the standings. Masia's 209 points and Sazaki's 193. So, despite Sazaki's bad start, he's still only like 16 points.
Still within a shout, yeah.
Masia only got like, I think 10 points from that weekend, even though Holgado messed up, Sasaki messed up. He didn't really reap the rewards of their mistakes as such. But as far down as Alonso in 4th, so Masia's got 209 points. Sazaki's got 193, 17 points behind him. Holgado's got 192, 18 points behind the leader. And David Alonso has 180 points. He's only 29 points behind the leader.
Yeah.
Choo-choo, hype train. Hype train.
Like it.
I don't know. We've 5 races to go. I'm not sure if David Alonso can win the championship. I know he can, but...
Yeah. Be cool if he did, but I don't think he will.
Be cool if he did. It would be cool if he did. But it was a good race. It was typical Moto3, chopping and changing, everybody all over the place. Holgado just cutting corners, doing what he wants.
Yeah.
Even Artola jumping starts. Sasaki stalling. Worth a watch.
Yeah, do you know what? I might go back and watch it, actually. Because I might even watch it. Is it worth watching Moto2?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
No.
I'll maybe just watch Moto3 then. Go back and watch that.
And I know we watched it, but like, I was watching it and you were kind of trying to sleep. And I said to you that Anna Carrasco came off.
Oh, yeah.
That was her first crash all season. Now, I know you might be like, oh, well, she's not trying hard enough. I'm here, Chippy, in the background.
Yeah.
That's because she's not trying hard enough. Well, she is. She's always trying. She always puts effort in. One crash all season. That was a nasty crash too, but yeah. One crash all season. That's pretty good going.
It is, but it'd be
anyway,
better going if she got just 1
I
point.
rewatched... Yeah. I took the dog out for a walk, so I rewatched Moto3 tonight when I was walking the dog. And that's when I found out that she has only crashed once this season. Right, that's MotoGP talked about. I feel like we should probably talk more about British Superbikes, but like I said, we've said everything we need to say. Everybody's watched the race; they all watched it.
Yeah.
British Superbikes is now when it comes to British Superbikes, it's about looking forward to next year.
I'll tell you what, another thing about British Superbikes though is Tom Booth-Amos was riding in British Superbikes. That kid's riding everywhere, man. He's everywhere.
He's all over the place, aren't they?
Like,
I still
decide where you want to freaking ride.
Well, but you could say the same about Rexford Cooper. Rexford Cooper's been riding Super Sport, Super Stock, F900. But I just, again, I don't want to take anything away from Ben Curry, but yeah, I would love to see Tom Booth-Amos just focus on one championship and the British Super Sport. I think he'd just do that, but
It's as if he's trying to run before
Right.
he can walk, type of thing.
Yeah,
By taking too much on.
but a lot of riders do that. I think they're just trying to soak up as much experience as they can, waiting for that one opportunity to come their way where they get on a good solid team and a good bike, good foundation, and they can actually see an opportunity to have a title shot. Like that's what he's looking for, I suppose. He just keeps putting himself out there until eventually that happens.
Yeah. Another thing to mention is...
But you have to think, maybe...
Go on.
No, go ahead, you said...
No, just, you carry on because it's a completely different subject.
Oh, I was just going to go back to Tom Booth-Amos and say that it's maybe not him as well. It's maybe not him pushing for it. Like, obviously, riding in superbikes, whatever. It's maybe not him. It's possibly the team.
Yeah.
Like, it's maybe as much the team that's saying, we want to ride World Supersports. And we want to ride World Supersports more than we want you in British Supersports. So ride British Supersports, but whenever they overlap, World Supersports is taken, that's where you'll be going. At the detriment of your British Superbike title.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be right, yeah.
Because I know Chippy thought he was like, oh, he's so big-headed he thinks he can win the British Superbike title and do the World Super or the British Supersport title and do the World Supersport. And it's like, well, it's maybe not him. Maybe it's his, maybe it's the sponsors who are sponsoring the team are saying, well, there's an opportunity to go in British. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's maybe not just Tom Booth-Amos who's pushing for that. There's probably a team pushing for it and somebody behind the team pushing for it. Who knows? But yes, he is riding everywhere. And he's a really good rider, and I think he's one to watch for the future.
Definitely, yeah. Absolutely.
Right, we have a bit of a run through the news before we move on.
Yes, let's do that.
Right. Do you want to run through the news or do you want me to read it?
I can run through the news if you like. So the first bit of news is there's some big changes in World Superbike regulations next season. The first one is smaller fuel tanks. They're going to be limited to 21 litres. And this will be a combined weight. So this has apparently got a lot of people gossiping about the whole combined weight thing, power to weight ratio. And the RPM limits will be set before the season and won't be changed during the season. So that's actually quite a big one, really, because obviously we had the problems with not problems, but Bautista obviously ended up getting his bike revs limited quite a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, but there's no that second one where they're saying combined weight. There's no combined weight limit. There's no combined weight maximum or minimum this season. And Bautista, like, just to put it into context, Bautista is 15 kilograms, which is quite a lot. He's 15 kilograms lighter than his teammate.
Yes.
So we put them guys in the same bike. It's like putting like one guy in a bike and then giving them a 15 kg plate. Carry that while you're going around. It's going to slow you down.
Yeah.
And I know you could say, well, that's Ronaldo's fault for eating too much or doing too much exercise, but some people are just built different.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? You can diet as much as you want and train as hard as you want. Some people just aren't going to lose that weight.
Well, look at Danny Pedrosa. He's tiny. And he always had the advantage of being smaller because he didn't weigh as much.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. But that means that next year, if Bautista goes into the race and he himself isn't heavy enough and that combined weight's not enough, they will just literally have to put things on the bike to make it heavier.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody's talking about it. And I think this year that's why Dorna had to just admit and be like, look, we're going to have to reduce the revs on the Ducati because they didn't have a combined weight rule. So that meant that they could take advantage of Bautista being Bautista was 15 kg lighter than his teammate, and the Ducati team were probably going, if he's that much lighter, imagine how much faster he could go if we could strip the bike down and only put on what we really need. You know what I mean? We could make the bike even lighter.
Yeah.
Whereas next year it's going to be like, well, chip bust, it needs to be this certain weight. So, whereas this year it was like Dorna were like, hands up, we're going to hit reduce the rev limit because he's so light. Next year it's like, we'll give you a combined weight, but don't come complaining to us if Batista still runs up the road and wins everything. We're not going to reduce. You know what I mean? I think that's what Dorna's saying.
Yeah.
Next one.
You can read this one out. We'll share it.
Okay. Triumph Motorcycles and Macadam Racing are joining forces to compete in the 2024 Quattro British British Supersport Championship. Big team and big news. They'll be battling for the championship next season. British Supersport has been really good this year and looks to get even better after being stale for a few years. So, Triumph Motorcycles is going to be racing in British Supersport next year.
Cool. We were discussing that they should bring Triumph into sort of the BSB, not the BSB, well, yeah, BSB, but some of the other classes as well.
The BSB part.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And Macadam Racing are joining forces to compete, so I guess they're going to be like the sponsor who's going to be running the Triumph motorcycles. Well, we'll see how that goes. Obviously, they're a big manufacturer. They're obviously doing well with what they do in Moto2. I think Peter Hickman races Triumph.
He does, yeah.
Whenever he's racing
on the TT.
Whenever he's racing under his own.
So I wonder if they're going to use the 765 engine.
765.
Yeah. Because I doubt they'll make an engine specifically for it.
Well, they probably will use the 765, and then they'll just tweak it whatever way they have to do. Because you see Tom Booth-Amos, he rides about. I'm pretty sure he rides about in the same bike. One round it's a super sport, then he's got a super stock, and then he's got a super bike, and they just tweak it whatever way they need to. But you get the super sport, and some of them guys are running like, 990s or something, and some other guys are riding like 660s, and they just tweak them all so they all run at the same sort of horsepower and same sort of settings. So it probably will be the 765.
Yeah. No, well, that'd be good.
But that means if they get in there, there's no reason why it couldn't be a super bike.
No, absolutely no reason. No.
But that's for the future.
That is for the future.
Right.
That covers the news then.
Moving on. Yeah, moving on. Should we have a little chat about confirmed rides for next season?
Yeah, but what I was also going to say is John McGuinness was riding for Paget's Honda this weekend as well.
Was that on Superstock?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was quite cool.
There's a few old hands out this weekend.
It was. And I obviously met him again. Regular mate John McGuinness, mine now.
At this stage, John McGuinness has a restraining order. Mate. That's like the third or fourth time.
That's the third time this year.
To be honest, he's probably thankful this time that you stood in the queue and did it properly rather than just cornering him somewhere in the paddock. John, can you sign my hat, please?
No. The first time I seen him was at Knockhill, and he'd sort of poked his head out after the pit lane walk to see if there was any crazy fans around, and I'm thinking, you're not safe. I'm not part of the team, really. I'm just a crazy fan. That's when I got a photo with him.
Yeah.
But no, nice bloke.
You must have his signature about 4 or 5 times.
I have it 1, 2, 3 times. 3 times.
3 times. And I guarantee if you see him again, you'll get it
Absolutely.
Again. Such a fanboy.
I know.
And you kept saying to me, you're like, oh, there's such and such, and here's such and such. And I'm just like, I don't care.
I am a fanboy. I can't help myself.
I can, you've mentioned going to Comic-Con. I can walk by anybody and just be like, meh. I appreciate who they are. I like watching them go fast. But I don't get that where I feel
there must be somebody in that's famous that if you saw him, you'd be like, oh, fucking hell, I need to go talk to him? Anybody?
I can't think anybody who'd be like, oh, I really must talk to him. I'd just be like, I'd maybe talk to them, but I wouldn't be all like, oh, give me your autograph or let's have a picture together. No, I can't think anybody. I'd just be like, yeah, well, just, hello. You all right? How's it going?
Well, that's where we differ. I got him to sign me polo shirt, so I'm going to get that framed. That's going on the wall, I think.
Yeah. But different folk for different strokes, I suppose.
Yes, I suppose.
Each to their own. We'll have a little chat about confirmed rides.
Okay.
So, next year, what we know is, first and foremost, the big one, which we didn't record last week, so we didn't get to talk about it. Marc Marquez has left HRC and is going to join Gresini Ducati.
Wow.
Yes.
And I am glad he has done.
No, we kind of knew there was no smoke without fire, and fuck me, there was a lot of smoke that he was going to leave Honda, and he's finally done it. And then once he said he was going to leave Honda, everybody knew he was going to Gresini Ducati. Go back a few months ago, and I was certain he was going to go to Aprilia. I just had this Ducati's got enough riders. They got Bagnaia, they got Martin, they've got whoever, they've got Bastianini, they've got Marini, they've got Bezzecchi, they've got so many riders. It's like, do they really need another rider who's riding in there and just getting in the way? And it turns out they did. They're like, oh fuck that, we'll go we won. But I thought maybe go to Aprilia. I was wrong. Oh my god, I got something wrong.
You got something wrong for a change.
I get a lot of things wrong. We get a lot of things wrong. But yes, go to Gresini Ducati.
Replacing DG Antonio?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Who has rumoured to be replacing that's a silly season we're going on there. But he's rumoured to be replacing Marc Marquez. Well, he's one of the rumours. But Marc Marquez left HRC, going to Gresini Ducati. Straight out answer, Ash. I just want a yes or no for now. Is Marc Marquez going to win the championship next year?
No.
Okay.
He's not. No.
So next year we're going to do predictions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to pull our names out of a hat to see who goes first.
Chippy will be picking Marc Marquez.
If my name comes out of the hat first, I'm going to pick Marc Marquez just so he can.
Yes, I like that.
I also don't think Marc Marquez will win the championship next year.
In fact, I might do that. I might do that as well. If my name comes out of the hat straight away, I'm just going to pick Marc Marquez so he can't pick it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Marc Marquez comes out in the first round and is so eager to prove how fast he is in the Ducati that he ends up binning it.
He's going to have plenty of time to test, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he will. But in saying that, I also wouldn't be surprised if he does come out and win the championship next year because he's such a phenomenal rider.
Is, yeah.
But this is his chance now to prove that he is who he says he is. He's back, baby. I'm not convinced.
I'm not.
I am loving the hype, and I'm very excited to see him on the Ducati, and I want to see him up there. And if he does win the championship, happy days. And I'll applaud him, and brilliant. And I'll talk about him all next season. And it's not that I don't want him to do it. I just don't think he will. I don't think he'll win the championship next year.
No, I don't think he will. I want him to do well, but I think it's going to take a lot of settling in. I think he needs to change his riding style, and I know that's easy said than done. But he doesn't have the strength in his arm anymore to keep himself off the ground. We saw that in the last couple of rounds when he tried to keep himself up with his elbow and he slid out. I just think he needs to, and maybe he can. Now he's going to be on a different bike. He might be able to change that riding style, still be fast, and who knows?
Yeah. The other one we heard about is Pedro Acosta's confirmed to go to Gas.
Yep.
We've already talked about that. Danny Buckham's going to DAO Racing, British Superbikes.
Yeah, we've seen him actually in the DAO Gilet, didn't we? When we would just finish, come out of the toilet block, and it was like, oh, he's in the DAO stuff already.
Yeah, just after race two. Race two just finished. We came out of the toilet block, and there he was. DAO Racing do a bit of road racing though. Danny Buckham's not a road racer.
He's not. No, he's not, and I don't think he ever will be.
He's just going to give up on that. No, he's just going to give up on that.
I don't know. Because it was such a nice fit with Dean Harrison, because they could have him at the BSB, and he's obviously phenomenal at the TT.
Maybe DAO aren't bigly into road racing. Maybe they just give a bike to whoever and they say, "I want to go road racing."
Yeah,
they're like, "Hell, that's all right."
Well, I'm hoping Danny does well at DAO, because obviously he had an absolute mare at BMW. So
yeah, like everybody does.
Because
apart from maybe Leon Haslam, he's an alright season. And then we got Billy McConnell and Jamie Van Skitterlus. Sorry, Jamie Van Skitterlus.
Gefilte fish.
He's joining BSB with C&L Fairbairn Properties Jackson Racing. It's the first time Dutch rider has been in the BSB.
Well. Let's hope Jamie Van Subsastus does really well. Really sorry we can't say your name. We will find out.
Skitellus.
Yes, I'll tell you what we'll do is... No, because you're saying skit.
Skitellus.
Skit. No, it's not skit.
No, Sikellurus.
Sikellurus. Yeah.
Sikellurus.
Sikellurus.
No, it's not Sikellurus. It's Sikellurus.
Sorry. When we actually hear his name properly on the BSB next year, then we'll be able to pronounce it. So,
I guarantee the first time... What's that Yorkshire lad called?
James Whittam.
I guarantee the first time James Whittam said he'll have a hard time as well.
Yeah, I think he will as well.
He says something. That'll be funny. My name's not even that hard to say. My surname is Macaulay, and the amount of people that get it wrong.
How can you get that wrong? What do you get? Do you get a lot of Macauleys or?
Some people just call me all sorts of stuff. Yeah,
fair enough.
But it's similar. It sounds a bit like it, but you're like,
well,
it's not close.
It's like my name. I get a lot of Hows. Hello, Mr. Howe. No, Mr. Howe here. Bye.
That's confirmed rides. A little bit of silly season. Miguel Oliveira to replace Marquez. Oliveira has confirmed that he's been approached, but whether he's going to go or not, or whether he's riding for Aprilia, so he's going to stay there. And DG Antonio has also been rumoured to replace Marquez.
Hold on, yeah.
I think DG
Miguel Oliveira, yeah, he's on the other Aprilia, isn't he? The green kind of.
He's on the, yeah.
That's going to be a difficult decision. I mean, do you really want to come off an Aprilia and go onto that Honda?
Well, he's just saying he's been approached.
Yeah, but if you were Oliveira, you're on that Aprilia, you've been approached. Oh, would you like Marc Marquez's old bike? What would you say?
I would say no.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to stay on my Aprilia.
but he'll go to a factory bike, even though it's shite. Which means he's probably going to get more money as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but Honda know that they don't have to pay him the money they paid Marquez.
Oh, no, it's not. No, I agree with that. It's not going to get paid what Marquez is going to get paid, but surely he'll get more than what he's on at the moment.
He might make more money, but it depends if that's what he's in it for.
Yeah, I suppose.
Don't know. But I think realistically, it's probably more likelihood that DG Antonio is going to take the ride because he now doesn't have one.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
So he maybe has other places to go. Maybe he can go to World Superbikes. Maybe there's somebody else in MotoGP at once.
I think he would be better going to World Superbikes myself. I think he'd be more suited there. I mean...
Yeah, we think that, but his whole life could be revolving around the MotoGP paddock.
I get that. And obviously, I know it's rumoured that he might be replacing Marquez, but do Honda want DG Antonio?
Don't know. They need somebody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of speculation about who's going. Sure, at one stage they thought because I was speculating and people were talking about it on Twitter, but because Johan Zarco was going to Honda, they thought, well, is he just going to step in? He could step into the factory Repsol Honda, but obviously LCR no, that ain't happening. But, yeah. Are you writing in your predictions?
I've just changed one of them now. I had them in before, but I've just changed them. Just changed one of them.
Do you want it? So that's for talking about the predictions for next week. Because predictions for next week are that it's going to Phillip Island in Australia.
I just realised it was Australia, and that's why I've changed one of mine for a certain rider because he is Australian. And it's his home track, so he's going to know it better than anybody.
He didn't even finish last year. Last season, he didn't even finish the race.
Well, we'll see.
The DNF.
We'll see.
You can be wherever you want to be from. You're not just going to pull it out of the bag.
I do.
Right, so I wonder who you've gone for. Right, so the sprint race. Sprint race, I've gone for Jorge Martin in the sprint.
Good shout that. He probably will win it, to be fair. I've gone with Bagnaia because you picked Martin.
And Chippy's done what you done. Chippy's went, because it's in Australia, I'm going to go for Miller. Jack Miller's not going to win the race. Last year he didn't even finish the race. He was Australian last year as well.
I know.
He didn't he wasn't like something else. He was Australian last year. He's probably more Australian this year because he's been alive longer, so he's even more Australian. But it doesn't matter.
No, let's see Miller do a shoey.
I'm saying this about Miller, and we see my predictions later on. Right, so MotoGP race, feature race.
Yes.
Who have you gone for? Well, we know
I've gone with Jack Miller. Yeah.
Yes, not going to win the race.
He might.
Don't think so.
He might.
He's not even going to get a podium. He won't even get a podium.
Oh, I think he'll get a podium. He'll get a podium at least.
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll get a podium.
All right, well, we'll see. Who have you gone with?
I have gone for Bagnaia.
Yeah.
I've basically gone for a carbon copy of what's been happening in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And Chippy has gone for Jorge Martin.
Which, again, is a good shout because he's doing so well at the moment.
Good shout. Right. Moto 2.
Mm-hmm.
Who have you gone for?
I've gone for Pedro Acosta.
Nice and safe. Probably well won it, like we said, the Acosta show. I have gone for Jack Dix.
Which I'm quite surprised at, actually.
He did well last year. He got third last year, I think. I think he got a podium last year. Third or fourth he got last year, but I think a couple of the riders that won the race maybe moved up to MotoGP or whatever. But yeah, he done all right last year, so I think he likes Phillip Island. I think he likes Australia. Yeah. His bike obviously goes well around there. So, but yeah, it's going to be hard to beat Acosta. And Chippy's gone for Aaron Canet.
I don't think he's going to win.
Has he even won a race
yet? He's never won a Moto2 race now.
Aaron Canet win a race?
Yeah, exactly.
That was my dun the tun chat. Sounded like chasing racing there for a second. Aaron Canet win a race? No, I didn't. Chasing racing actually have listeners.
Yes.
Lads. And guests. Right, Moto 3. I have gone for Joel Kelso.
Why is that?
Because he's motherfucking Australian, that's why.
Oh, yeah, because he's more Australian this year.
Joel Kelso has shown a little bit of promise.
He has shown that he can't see where he's going.
No, that was one race, and it wasn't even his fault. It was Holgado's fault. We've already come to this conclusion. It was Holgado. Holgado crossed the line and just stopped.
He didn't have his glasses on. He smashed straight into the back of him. Big orange and black bikes. Not hard to miss, is it?
Right, anyway. He's shown a bit of promise this year now and again. He's got off to a few good starts and then fallen back. I don't think he will win it, but I'm putting him down anyway because I would love to see a fairy tale win for Joe Kelso.
Yeah,
right, that's it.
That's fair enough.
I believe in magic.
Yeah.
I believe in Father Christmas. That's right.
All right. I have gone with David Alonso.
Yeah, good shout.
Get on the hype train. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. I was thinking about getting on the hype train, but then I thought I just want Joe Kelso to win it. That's what I want to happen. And then Chippy's gone for David Munoz, which is all another good shout. Right, well, that's the show. There's not really much else to talk about, not much else to go on about. We did say we were going to keep it to like an hour and 20 minutes, and we've rattled on for like nearly 2. So
we have.
Yeah. Me and you always managed to talk some absolute... Well, we've not talked that much shit.
No, we haven't, to be fair. No, we haven't.
But to be honest, the British Superbikes was sorted this weekend.
Absolutely.
So it needed a little bit of time.
And they probably aren't gonna. They probably aren't gonna listen to this. But I do want to give a big thank you to Hawk Racing for their hospitality this weekend and letting us go to the bikes. And yeah, it was great. So thanks very much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd also like to reiterate that. Thank you very much, Hawk Racing. It was muchly appreciated. And some more next year, please. If you need someone to come to Spain,
to Spain,
yo hablo español, muy bueno. Sí.
Ándale.
Por favor, dos cervezas. Sí. Anyway, talking nonsense. Nothing else to say but say goodbye. So, Ash, Up North Biker.
See you later.
And I'm the big bad biker, Sam McCauley. Goodbye. Let's just hope it's not another 2 years before we see each other face to face again, eh?
Yeah,
Ash?
hopefully not.
Ta-ra!
Ta-da.